The first time I realized I wasn't really a daughter in their eyes, I was maybe 8. My sister Kenzie had spilled soup on the rug, and before I could even say a word, my dad's belt was already in his hand. My mom's voice echoed like a commandment. She was born to be punished, Kenzie was born to shine. But I stayed, because where else do you go when the people who made you also break you? Now, at 26, I lived in the same house I grew up in, only now I paid rent. Yes, rent to my parents, while Kenzie lived in the guest house for free. My paycheck from a local antique shop barely covered groceries and rent. They took everything, my warmth, my dignity, and they loved to rub it in. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments, from where are you watching this video? Kenzie had a dozen skincare products, perfumes, spa towels. I had a bar of cracked soap and a towel with cigarette burns. I didn't complain. I'd gotten used to not having things. But what I didn't know was how far they'd take it when I tried to take even a sliver of care for myself. It was a Monday. I'd just come home from work, soaked from the rain, shivering. My back hurt, and my feet were blistered from the secondhand boots Mom gave me last winter. I went to the bathroom. The water heater had finally been fixed, and for once, I thought maybe, just maybe, I'd allow myself a warm bath. The minute I turned on the faucet and sat in, something felt wrong. Scalding, too hot, too fast, I screamed. My skin stung like fire, like needles tearing through flesh. Then I saw it, floating in the tub, 3 socks, Kenzie's socks. And they weren't just used, they were rotten, stained, rolled into knots of dirt and mold. I jumped out, my arms blistering. My skin peeled in patches. I was crying, shaking. I ran into the hallway in a towel. My mom sat at the kitchen table eating cherries. Kenzie smirked behind her phone. Dad didn't even look up from his newspaper. Mom popped a cherry into her mouth and said with a smirk, "Maybe now you'll smell like someone useful. Those socks cost more than your job pays." Kenzie added with a cackle, "Now she finally has something in common with the trash can." I wanted to scream. I wanted to break something, but I just stood there, a grown woman, trembling in a towel, my skin raw. And no one in that house gave a damn. That night, I laid in bed, clutching ice packs, listening to my parents laugh in the kitchen about how dramatic I'd been. I didn't sleep. I didn't cry. But something settled inside me. Something cold. Something patient. The next morning, I woke up with a new purpose. Not survival. Strategy. I stopped fighting. I smiled when they mocked me, laughed when they insulted me. I even started cleaning Kenzie's car without being asked. I watched them lower their guard, and I waited, because they had no idea I'd already set the plan in motion. It started the moment I overheard Kenzie's secret, the one she begged them to keep hidden, the one that would burn cleaner than boiling water ever could. Kenzie's secret came out on a Thursday evening when she was too drunk to whisper and too arrogant to think I mattered. I was folding laundry, hers obviously, when she stomped in through the front door, heels in hand, mascara streaked reeking of perfume and vodka. She dropped her purse on the floor and collapsed on the couch, giggling to herself. "I told you," she slurred, speaking into the phone on speaker. "They'd never find out. I used her ID. The loser doesn't even know." My name flashed on her screen as the ID image. My face, my driver's license, my birth date. I froze. Then the voice on the phone, some guy I'd never heard, chuckled. "You're lucky the meds didn't react. Faking a pharmacy tech cert is risky, Kenz, but damn, you're hot when you lie." She giggled. "As long as I use Elena's name, the background checks pass. Nobody checks the trash can, daughter." My heart stopped. Kenzie had been using my name to land a pharmacy job, one that paid triple what I earned in the antique store. She had no license, no training. She was handling real prescriptions, fake degrees, and it was all buried under my identity. Worse, my parents knew. That night, I crept down the hallway, past Kenzie's room where she snored like a satisfied criminal, into the kitchen. My mom was there, half asleep, sipping wine in the dark. She didn't flinch when I whispered, "She's using my name for prescriptions." Instead, she smiled into her glass and said, Then maybe you're finally useful for something. That one line rewired something in me. I didn't go to sleep. I went online. I researched the pharmacy board, whistleblower laws, license lookups. I read about patient safety violations and legal consequences for impersonation. I studied every legal word like a survival manual. I learned the names of every drug Kinsey had access to. I found the right place to report it, anonymously. Then I printed everything I found. I built a file with photos of her fake certifications, screenshots of her texts, even a voice memo from that drunken night. And I didn't stop there. I knew if Kinsey fell, my parents would shield her again. So I built a second file. This one was about them. About the injuries, the burns. I took photos of the peeling skin, collected the towel they handed me after that bath. I logged every verbal assault they gave me afterward. I visited a doctor and got a statement, even though I had to save for weeks to pay for it in cash so they wouldn't trace it. Then I printed that too. When both files were thick, I made 3 copies each. I bought envelopes. I wrote no return address. And on a Monday morning, I mailed them. One to the State Board of Pharmacy, one to the Department of Child and Family Services, and one to a journalist who had just covered a medical negligence scandal in our county. Then I waited. And I kept pretending. I laughed when my mom called me bio-trash. I smiled when my dad barked, "Don't walk like that in the house. You look like you belong in an asylum." I even painted Kinsey's nails for her that Friday. She took a call from her boss while I worked. "Of course I'm licensed," she said sweetly. "I graduated top of my class." I looked at her hands as I painted, steady, confident, selfish. I didn't say a word. Because I knew what was coming. And when it did, I'd be right here, watching. Not screaming. Not crying. Just watching them burn under the truth they used me to hide. It started with a knock. Kinsey opened the door wearing a silk robe and a smug grin, assuming it was another delivery or admirer. But instead, 2 serious-looking men in black coats flashed badges. "State Board of Pharmacy, are you Mackenzie Avery?" Her smirk faltered. Yes? "We're here regarding a tip involving fraudulent licensure and illegal handling of prescription medication under a falsified identity. We'd like to speak with you about your employment at Crestview Pharmacy." I stood behind the hallway wall, out of sight, holding my breath, listening to her stumble over her lies. The color drained from her face as she stammered, There must be a mistake. This isn't, my license is—" "Ma'am, we have documentation. A full file, photos, texts, recordings. This isn't just a license issue. You've impersonated a certified technician, administered medication illegally, and committed identity fraud." She turned to look back, eyes searching, panicked. My parents came rushing into the room. My mom grabbed the badge from the man's hand and barked, "There's no fraud. She's our daughter. She's special." My dad added, "This is harassment. She's innocent. Maybe it's that other one, Elena." That's when they turned to me. "You," my mom hissed. "What did you say?" But I wasn't afraid. Because behind those agents came another knock. A second pair of visitors. This time it was from Child and Family Services. A woman with a calm, practiced voice said, "We're following up on a report of long-term physical and emotional abuse. The subject's name is Elena Avery." My parents stopped cold. "What? No, that's our daughter too," my mom snapped. "She's just dramatic." But they weren't listening to her. The woman turned to me. "Elena, may I speak with you privately?" I nodded. For the first time in my life, I said, "Yes." While Kinsey was led away in cuffs and my mom shouted that I was a traitor freak, I sat down with the investigator. I showed her everything, the bruises, the files, the evidence, the things they used to break me. They called me crazy when I spoke, but nobody believed them anymore. And that wasn't the end. The journalist who received the third envelope didn't just write an article, he wrote a series. Front page, licensed fraud, the truth behind the pretty face who poisoned patients. Second page, daughter of community leaders details a decade of abuse. Nobody helped her. Photos of the house, the bathtub, my skin, their faces. I didn't need to expose them publicly. The journalist did it for me. I didn't need to fight them in court. The system they abused did that for me. I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I didn't cry. I just watched. Watched Kinsey get banned from ever working in healthcare again, criminal charges pending. Watched my parents become pariahs, neighbors whispering, employers backing off, church rescinding invitations. And watched as every time they said my name, it tasted like regret. They tried to call me. I blocked them. They tried to find me. I moved. I started over in a new city. Got a job at a real pharmacy. Not because I wanted revenge, but because I wanted to prove something to myself. Not to them. To me. I earned my own license. My coworkers call me steady, sharp, reliable. They don't know what I came from. They don't need to. One day, a letter arrived from my old town, no return address. I recognized the handwriting, though, my mom's. Inside was a single note. We lost everything, you won. Please call. I didn't. I shredded it slowly, piece by piece. Because in the end, revenge wasn't watching them suffer. It was realizing I never needed their approval to become someone powerful. They buried me in boiling water and used socks. But I rose, clean, alone, stronger, and unforgettable. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you